The teasers dropped. The fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. Welcome to Starscope K Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Oh, I am so ready for this one.
Right. I mean, what if I told you that the most powerful tech innovators today aren't, sitting in Silicon Valley boardrooms? They're actually teenagers running K-pop fan accounts on Twitter.
Honestly, yeah. That is exactly what's happening right now.
So let's lay out the agenda for you today. We are taking you on a massive deep dive into a phenomenon that is literally reshaping the music industry. We're pulling from a huge stack of sources today.
A really big stack.
Yeah, we got dispatches from Allpop, Outlook Respawn, Mediafine Global, Korea Juneng Daily, Chosun, Wikipedia, and this completely eye-opening human-computer interaction research paper from ArcFur.
That paper is wild, by the way.
It really is. So, our mission today, we are unpacking this viral headline that's been all over our feeds. He just broke the internet. Jimin's secret achievement exposed.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the numbers on this are just insane.
They really are. We are going to break down his absolutely unprecedented Spotify and Billboard records, and then we're taking a magnifying glass to the secret, hyper-organized fandom machine that made every single one of those milestones possible.
Honestly, studying this data, you kind of stop seeing them as just fans in the traditional sense. They're practically operating as data scientists.
Literally.
As someone who watches these charts daily, what we're seeing here is, well, it's nothing short of a historic all-kill.
Yeah, and for anyone new to the scene, an all-kill is basically the holy grail in Korean music, right? It means a song has hit #1 on every single major real-time and daily chart simultaneously.
Exactly. And the most mind-blowing part of this specific achievement, he's doing this while actively serving in the military.
Right.
This isn't just a successful comeback. This is an absolute masterclass in dominating the global music landscape while on a literal hiatus.
Totally. So let's unpack the actual numbers here because as of August 2026, the statistics are just staggering. Look at the track Who from his second solo album, MUSE.
Such a good track.
It really is. And this single just shattered records by hitting 2.5 billion Spotify streams globally. And on Spotify Korea, Who has topped the daily top song chart for 500 days.
500 days. I mean, that level of longevity is virtually unheard of.
Right.
Even the absolute biggest Western pop stars, they struggle to hold the top spot for a fraction of that time, especially in the current streaming era where, attention spans are notoriously short.
Yeah, and when you look at all of his tracks combined, he's amassed this mind-bending 804 #1 positions on that Spotify Korea chart.
Wow.
But here's the real, secret achievement that the headline teased. Jimin has surpassed 6.5 billion Spotify streams using only pure solo tracks, zero collaboration.
That is the crazy part.
Right, so out of his 7.945 billion total streams across 34 tracks, over 80% come solely from his 22 non-featured solo songs.
Which, that completely proves his massive individual pulling power.
Mm-hmm.
In the K-pop industry, there is always this kind of lingering anxiety about whether a group member can sustain their group's momentum all on their own.
Right, the solo pressure.
Exactly.
Right.
So to see a member of the matinee line, which for the uninitiated refers to the youngest members of a group, to see him pulling these specific solo numbers without relying on high-profile Western features, it's monumental.
Yeah.
It proves the brand is just as strong on an individual level as it is collectively.
But, I'm looking at the 6.5 billion number, and I'm sorry, I'm calling it right now. That just defies gravity. If 6.5 billion streams were footsteps, you could literally walk to the moon and back multiple times. People don't just passively listen to a song enough times to generate billions of streams out of thin air. There has to be some kind of machine behind this, right? Are we really looking at individual fans just loving the song, or is this a highly coordinated system?
Well, that is the crucial question, isn't it? It's both. But it heavily relies on the latter to reach those record-breaking heights. Casual listening just doesn't produce these numbers.
Right.
This is a testament to the fierce loyalty of the fandom, actively working to ensure its commercial viability. And make no mistake, luxury fashion houses like Dior and Tiffany & Co., alongside major TV producers, they watch this data like hawks.
Oh, absolutely.
A fandom knows that if they want their bias, the member of the group they favor the most, to secure the best endorsements and the highest visibility, They have to produce undeniable, bulletproof metrics.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And hey, if you love staying updated on your favorites, make sure you subscribe to Starscope K Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
And honestly, that's not even the wildest part of this comeback.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear exactly how the fandom orchestrated this behind the scenes.
Yes. Because those 6.5 billion streams aren't just happening because the song is catchy. There's a coordinated engine behind this that honestly looks more like a cybersecurity operation than a fan club.
It really does.
Knets and international fans have essentially become the ultimate algorithmic hackers.
I am endlessly fascinated by this. The sheer intelligence of this fandom is incredible. They aren't just hitting play and walking away. They are conducting empirical research.
Yeah, running actual tests.
Exactly. They're running beta tests. They are quite literally reverse engineering the black box algorithms of multi-billion-dollar tech companies.
Which brings us to that brilliant HCI human-computer interaction research paper from ArcSIF. It's titled Computer-Supported Collective Actions.
Such a fascinating read.
Right. The researchers spent 2 years doing an ethnographic study on this exact phenomenon. They broke down the fandom hierarchy, noting this massive difference between, like, core fans and general fans.
Right, the generals and the soldiers, basically.
Exactly. The core fans act as these digital generals. They use trial and error to decode the algorithms of Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Weibo, you name it.
And the researchers found that these core fans create highly specific, rigorously tested tutorials for the general fans to follow.
Step-by-step guides.
Right. And the tactics are incredibly sophisticated because they have to constantly adapt to platform updates. Like, for example, Kpop fans realized early on that platforms track engagement differently based on audio output.
Oh yeah, the muted streams.
Yes. They used to use muted video plays like opening dozens of browser tabs, muting the audio, and just letting the music videos loop to artificially boost chart rankings.
And this actually forced Melon, which, is South Korea's leading streaming platform, to modify its entire ranking algorithm.
Love that part.
The platform developers realized what was happening and literally changed their code so that any stream with muted audio returned a 0 value.
Which is just incredible. The fans forced a major corporate platform to change its actual infrastructure.
But the fans just pivoted.
Bro, of course. The core fans simply adapted. They started developing new tutorials on how to use low-volume streaming or multi-device networking to bypass the new restrictions.
And the strategies also adapt based on the region and the specific platform's quirks, too. Like, the ArcSIF paper highlights this Chinese fan strategy on Weibo called nested comments.
Oh, the buildings within buildings.
Yeah, exactly. That's what fans call it.
This is where we see them heavily leveraging platform-specific mechanics. So on Weibo, you can earn a diehard fan status by interacting with a specific blogger or artist's page for 5 consecutive days.
Okay.
And the algorithm naturally favors these VIP users.
Right. So think of the algorithm like a bouncer at an exclusive club. A normal comment from a regular user is just someone standing in line on the sidewalk. But a nested comment between 2 users who both have VIP diehard fan status.
It's a whole different level.
Yeah, that's like pulling up in a limo with the owner of the club. The algorithm sees that high-tier interaction and immediately pushes the entire post to the absolute front of the line, making it go viral.
And the core fans figured this out through sheer testing. They literally distribute tutorials telling fans that if they don't have that diehard status, they shouldn't even bother commenting.
Wait, really? Just don't comment at all?
Yeah, because a low-tier comment can actually dilute the algorithmic weight of the post. It is a highly calculated, militaristic deployment of engagement.
That is wild. But, how do a few dozen core fans convince millions of general fans to do this tedious, unpaid data labor every single day?
It's a lot of work.
Creating burner accounts, tracking streaming hours, engaging in nested comments. I mean, it sounds like a full-time office job.
It really does. And the researchers coined a brilliant term for how they motivate the masses. They call it algorithmic emotionality.
Wow.
Yeah. Core fans know that spreadsheets and cold technical tutorials aren't enough to mobilize millions of people. They have to weaponize emotion.
And the rhetoric they use is intense. The paper quotes them using phrases like, "Our idol only has us."
Right. It's a tactic referred to as guilt-tripping fans. The core fans create a narrative of absolute urgency. They tell the fandom, if our data performance drops this week, the luxury brands will pull their sponsorship, the TV networks will stop inviting him, and our idol's career will suffer.
Which is terrifying if you're a huge fan.
Exactly. It frames this repetitive, exhausting data labor not as a chore, but as the ultimate, purest act of love and loyalty. It creates this dynamic where if you aren't streaming according to the exact parameters of the algorithm tutorial, your dedication to your bias is questioned.
It's just wild. You basically have core fans operating like Silicon Valley tech CEOs.
Yes.
They're managing a decentralized, highly motivated global workforce of millions of people. They're adapting to algorithm updates in real time, optimizing workflows, and they are doing it all without paying a single cent in wages.
It is arguably the most effective grassroots organizing on the internet today.
But it raises a really provocative question. If 2.5 billion streams on Spotify are systematically coordinated through what is essentially structured data labor, does it skew the reality of the music's popularity? Or is this just the new modern definition of what popularity actually is?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of the music industry, popularity has always been manufactured to some degree.
That's true. Payola, right?
Exactly. Back in the day, it was radio payola, or massive record labels, buying up Billboard space to force a song into the public consciousness. The only difference now is that the power has shifted. It's no longer just corporate executives in suits deciding what's popular. It's millions of teenagers and young adults coordinating on Discord and Twitter.
They've hacked the system.
They have essentially democratized the manipulation of popularity.
Well, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update.
And stick around, because later in the deep dive, we'll talk about a shocking 60-year-old Billboard record that Jimin shattered, which literally nobody saw coming.
So we've broken down the algorithms, the tracking, and the data labor. But those hacking strategies only work if the fandom deeply, truly cares about the artist.
100%.
You can't just guilt-trip someone into spending hours managing streaming queues if the product itself isn't inspiring. The music, the visuals, the storytelling, it all has to be cinematic enough to command that level of devotion. So let's look at the actual artistry and the musical evolution from his first solo album, Face E, to the second one, MUSE.
Because this is exactly why those numbers hold up. The data labor is the vehicle, but the artistry is the fuel.
Yeah.
If the music was generic, the fans would eventually burn out.
Definitely. And the Billboard milestones are the proof of that fuel. The title track, Like Crazy, from the Face album became the first song by a Korean solo artist to top the Billboard Hot 100.
Huge.
And in doing so, he broke a 60-year record for an Asian musician. Like, the previous record was actually held by Japanese singer Sakamoto Kyu all the way back in 1963.
1963, I mean, that is the era of the Beatles.
Yeah.
To hold a record for 6 decades across multiple generations of pop culture and have it finally broken by a K-pop soloist is monumental. It signals a complete shift in what global pop music looks and sounds like today.
And then he somehow outdoes himself with the next release. Who broke the longevity record for a K-pop song on the Hot 100, charting for 33 weeks?
Unbelievable.
For context, that surpassed BTS's massive hit Dynamite, which had 32 weeks, and NC's legendary Gangnam Style at 31 weeks. It also spent 28 weeks on the UK official singles chart and won K-pop Song of the Year at the 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Just casually breaking every record.
Right. But let's talk about why it had that kind of staying power. What is it about the composition of MUSE that resonated so deeply compared to his previous work?
What is so captivating about this success is the stark sonic and emotional contrast between the two albums. Like, Face was an incredibly dark, introspective album.
Very heavy.
Yet it dealt with night, with anxiety, with the heavy weight of isolation. The production relied heavily on atmospheric synths and sharp, almost chaotic beats. It was a deep dive into his shadow self.
And then comes MUSE, which, I mean, it feels like stepping out into the sunlight.
Yes. MUSE is a complete 180. It's bright, it's about the morning, it's about the search for love. But more importantly, it leans heavily into a very global hip-hop and R&B sound.
Which is a tough pivot.
Very.
Oh.
And here is where his dedication to the craft really shines. He didn't just coast on his existing vocal techniques. Singing R&B requires a completely different mechanical approach than traditional K-pop belting or, the breathy pop vocals he was known for.
Right, because R&B is so reliant on the groove, you have to sing slightly behind the beat. You need way more rhythmic agility.
Exactly. He specifically went back to the drawing board and took intensive vocal lessons to develop a stronger, more rhythmic vocal style. He learned how to sync with the backbeat and deliver those syncopated R&B runs.
That's real dedication.
It is. And that tangible evolution in his vocal landscape is what made MUSE resonate globally. It didn't just sound like a K-pop idol trying on an R&B costume. It sounded authentic.
And I think that work ethic is exactly why the fandom is willing to do the data labor we talked about earlier.
Totally.
They see him putting in the grueling work to reinvent his sound, so they put in the grueling work to make sure that sound dominates the charts. You also see that reciprocal love in tracks like Closer Than This, which was a digital single dedicated directly to the fans in gratitude for their support.
It creates a closed-loop ecosystem of absolute devotion. He gives them a vulnerable, high-quality cinematic universe, and they give him the world on a silver platter in the form of Billboard records.
But here's where the strategy becomes a total game changer for the industry. MUSE was entirely pre-produced by Big Hit before his enlistment.
This blows my mind.
Right. He physically went into the military, but the content kept flowing as if he never left. It's like Big Hit created an elaborate insurance policy for the Hallyu Wave.
That's a great way to put it.
By pre-packaging entire eras of music before enlisting, has Big Hit effectively eliminated the concept of a hiatus altogether. It absolutely changes the blueprint. Like, the military hiatus used to be the single most feared period for any male K-pop group. It was viewed as a death sentence for momentum. Yeah, you just assumed fans would move on. Exactly. Fans would naturally drift away. But by pre-packaging these entire eras, complete with fully produced music videos, months of behind-the-scenes content, and highly strategic single drops, they have turned an absence into a highly anticipated, prolonged comeback season.
That's genius.
The artist isn't physically there, but their digital footprint is expanding faster than ever.
It's an absolute masterclass in content pipeline management. But, as we look at this incredible ecosystem of pre-produced content and hyper-organized data labor, it brings me to a final thought I want to explore with you.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the HCI research paper detailed the massive coordinated human effort of all this streaming and nested commenting, right? But let's look 10 years down the road. Oh, I know where you're going with this, and it's fascinating.
Right, because as this current generation of stans grows older-like, as they get full-time jobs, start families, and suddenly have way less free time to sit there manually managing muted streams across multiple devices, what happens to the algorithmic machine?
That's the dilemma, because the emotional drive might still be there, but the raw human hours available for data labor will inevitably shrink. So do they just accept lower chart placements?
Or do they automate it? Like, will we see a near future where fan bases pool their money to train sophisticated AI bots to do the emotional and algorithmic labor for them?
Oh, wow.
If fans are already acting like data scientists, deploying an AI agent to perfectly mimic a VIP Weibo account or optimize Spotify streaming patterns seems like the logical next step.
It really does. But, if AI takes over the streaming, and that visceral human element of sacrifice, the late nights, the coordinated tutorials, if that's gone, it fundamentally changes the nature of the relationship.
Exactly. What does it actually mean to be a fan at that point? Can you just outsource your love to an algorithm? It's something truly fascinating for you to mull over as the landscape of fandom continues to evolve in this digital age. You've been listening to Starscope K Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.